y'all. We are the Updike family located in the mountains of Tennessee. We're excited to share our homesteading journey with all of you. From the farm to the table, we'll share the ins and outs, the ups and downs, from recipes and how-tos to our adventures of running a homestead. So come on in and join us. From our home to yours, welcome to the Updike Family Homestead. Hey guys, welcome to the Updike Family Homestead. One of the questions that I get asked quite frequently is how do I get the bread so soft whenever I make homemade bread? So I'm going to show you the trick to making sure that your bread is soft not only on the outside but nice and soft and fluffy on the inside. So I've already mixed up my dough. It's been rising for about a little over an hour now. It has doubled in size, as you can see. I use my handy dandy stand mixer to do all that heavy work. And now I have floured my surface. Make sure that you clean your surface before you sprinkle that flour down. And I've also gone ahead and pulled all of the ingredients. This particular batch of bread, I'm going to be making jalapeno cheese bread, which is one of my most popular breads that we sell here at the country store. I've gone ahead and pulled out my shredded cheese. And I have about a cup of sliced jalapenos, and I also have a mixture of some herbs and some seasoning. Before you even do the dough, you want to make sure that you take 2 bread loaf pans, because this batch does make 2 big loaves of bread. So I've gone ahead and sprayed both of my loaf pans so they're ready to go. Alright, so let's get started. So what you want to do is you just want to pull out your dough ball. And this is so much fun, guys. I love playing with the dough, and I just love how it feels. It helps my hands. And I'm just going to take some flour and just make sure that all sides have flour. I have a rolling pin here, and I am just going to roll it out. Doesn't need to be real thin. You just want to make sure that it's nice and flat, almost like you would a pizza crust. Alright, now that that's done, I'm going to take my bread. I'm going to fold it in half. Or not the bread, but the dough. I'm going to fold it in half and just make sure that I have 2 even halves of bread. And typically I like to use a pizza cutter just to kind of cut this, but you can use a knife or anything that you have on hand at that moment to cut the bread. Alright, so one side is going to just kind of come over here, and we're going to work on this side. Alright, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to take my jalapenos, and there's no rhyme or reason. You just want to make sure that they're all nice and spread out. I have some customers that like it really spicy and they want a lot of jalapenos. I have other customers that just want a few jalapenos. So this is about the average that I would put on here. So not too many, not where it's overwhelming, but you want to have enough on there to give it a little kick. Then you take the cheese and spread the cheese around. It is like making a pizza. And then I have my herbs and seasoning. So I'm just going to kind of sprinkle that just to give it a little more flavor. Okay, now here's the trick. And this is where you want to make sure that you if you want the softness on the inside. You're going to roll almost like a cinnamon roll and squeeze as you're rolling to make it nice and tight. Okay, Bring your loaf pan over, lift it up, and place it in. And then I do like to come across one more time and put just a few more jalapenos all over. Makes it pretty when it bakes up really nice. And a little bit more cheese. And don't worry if the cheese gets on the side of each, on each side of the loaf, the bread dough that you have in the pan, because as it rises, it'll collect that cheese and you'll have a nice cheese mixture on the side. So that one's done. I'm going to move on to the next one. They'll sit in the window because again it's winter time. I'm just gonna pop them in the window. They'll rise for about 35 minutes and then it will be time to bake them. All right friends, so it has been 35 minutes and I've already taken one loaf out of the bread pan. I'm just gonna show you really quick how I take the second loaf out. You'll notice that I've got a cutting board here. The longer that you leave the bread in a pan, the longer it's gonna cook. So I wanna make sure that I get them out and get them situated on the cutting board. You don't have to use a cutting board, you can use something else. It's just more convenient for me. And what I do next is just take some butter. And it is a little bit harder since I've got stuff on there. So I'm just gonna take a little plastic knife and cut some pieces off and just kind of let it melt over the top. You don't need a whole lot. If this was a plain loaf of bread where there wasn't anything on top, I would just take the stick and just kind of rub it all over. But since this does have jalapenos and cheese, I'm just gonna let it kind of melt. Stay. All right. And just kind of make sure it gets all over and not fall off the bread. You can see like it's already melting because it's nice and warm. And it falls off. And this just gives it kind of a nice golden, shiny crust. And I'm just kind of spreading it out. This is our personal loaf because my husband asked me to make him a loaf of jalapeno cheese bread. And so I just want you to see what it looks like on the inside. So this is a customer's and then this one is ours. And I'm just going to cut it right down in the center here. I don't typically recommend doing that. You know, you can use, but for this, because I want you to be able to see what it looks like. Ooh, well, maybe. My bread knife is over at the main house. There we go. And then there's your inside. You can see that everything is nice and even all the way throughout. And it's very nice and soft and very fluffy. So this is going to taste very yummy when it's time to dive in. Thanks guys so much. I hope you enjoyed.